Hey everyone, it's Deborah Poneman, founder of Yes to Success and Ageless Seminars. And today I am recording my 200th Success Saturday live from my nephew's room in beautiful Brentwood, California. I had a fancy background set up, but there are helicopters flying over here. I don't know why. So I had to go to the back room where it is quiet. I hope you'll forgive me that I I actually teach people how to have a great background when they're recording Zoom, and I say never have a bed in the background. Well, oh well. Anyway, for my 200th Yes to Success, I want to go in the Wayback Machine for a moment because 2 years ago at this time, I was interviewing people for an event called Rocking Life at Any Age. My partner in Rocking Life, the wonderful Natalie Matyshenko, and I we interviewed everybody: Neil Donald Walsh, Mary Morrissey, Marianne Williamson, Dr. John Gray, Marissa Peer, Lisa Nichols, of course, my besties, Janet Atwood, Marcy Shimoff, Dr. Sue Morter. But the interview I want to talk about today is the one we did with Dr. Laura Berman. Dr. Laura is considered to be one of the top experts in the world on love, sex, and relationships. She has numerous New York Times bestsellers. She was a frequent guest on Good Morning America, The Today Show. She's been on Oprah, I don't know, a zillion times, Rachel Ray. I don't know what else. She has a top podcast. She had a show on the OWN network forever. So you get the picture. She is absolutely brilliant in her advice on having a loving primary relationship and how to sustain it. And she's brilliant. And that's why she's so beloved. And almost exactly a year before Natalie and I interviewed her, she was going about her life with her fabulous husband and three teenage sons when the unthinkable happened. Her youngest son, Sammy, was up in his room studying. He was a sophomore in high school, and those were the days that because of COVID, you did high school at home. And his dad brought him up a hamburger for lunch. And then Sammy went out to take a walk, which he did often to get some fresh air, walked around the block. And then a few hours later, Laura went up to see if he needed anything. And he was lying on the floor and he was dead. He was kind of an innocent kid who never did any drugs except a bit of experimentation with marijuana. And some pusher on Snapchat who preys on these types of kids sold him some what Sammy thought was Vicodin. He met the dealer in his walk around the block and he took it to impress a girl. And it turned out it was laced with fentanyl, which killed him instantly. Now, I know the whole story and more because Laura and I have a mutual BFF. And so we are BFFs in law. But it was so powerful when Natalie and I interviewed Dr. Laura to hear her thoughts 1 year later. And you know how we all say that eventually we will see the gift in everything, but then our next thought is, how can you ever see the gift in losing a child? But she shared how she now sees innumerable gifts, even in an unimaginable tragedy. And not only is she moving on, although she'll always love her son and of course wish it hadn't have ever happened, she said she's not only surviving, but thriving more than before in many ways. So I wanted to share with you some of what she said. The first thing I thought you would appreciate that she said is that when something happens to you, like the death of a loved one, you really need to allow yourself to feel the pain or it will get stuck in your body. She said that when her mother died of breast cancer, she was so busy that she didn't have time to properly grieve. So she philosophized it away and moved on with her life. And within a year, those stuffed emotions manifested into cancer in her breast in the same place as her mother's. Having that having had that experience, she said that this time she allowed herself to wail and to scream and to cry and to do it so it wouldn't get stuck in her body, and she still does. And she also said that when she let herself feel the feelings in her body and breathe into that area where the pain resided, she said as she did, messages would come to her. And she even felt that some of the messages were coming from Sammy. So again, from her experience, rage, scream, pound a pillow. And when you calm down, breathe into the area and see if there is a message for you. And there's more. The most amazing thing I think that she said during our interview was that she feels she is really a completely new person in one way since Sammy's death. And that is because the worst possible thing has happened to her. She now feels there's nothing else to be afraid of. She said, I'm truly not afraid of anything. She added, and I quote, I have the quote over here. She said, I have to find it. I do have the quote over here. She said, it makes me a little harshly honest at times because I really don't give a shit what other people think anymore. I'm no longer a people pleaser. I can't do anything anymore that I don't have a full body yes to. There's a new freedom in my life. And then she went on to share that when someone is struggling to make a leap that would feed his or her soul, they have no idea what's going to happen. They can soar or they can crash and burn. Before, because of the possibility of crashing and burning, she wouldn't take the leap. Now she leaps because she sees how insignificant most crashes and burns are compared to losing your child. She now says, and I have another quote over here. I can't uncover it. Where is it? Okay. Quote, now I think, so what if the outcome isn't what I intended? I am unapologetic about saying no to things I don't want to do. I used to think that if I said no, I'd lose friends and all hell would break loose. But I can no longer do what I don't want to do. How can you not thrive when you're not doing anything that you really don't want to do? And she said also that she learned that people appreciate honesty and integrity more than they appreciate people pleasing. And you know what else she did? She turned her tragedy into an opportunity. She testified in front of Congress to get a law passed called Sammy's Law so that no parent has to endure what she did. And she also started an organization called Grieving Mamas, and she leads meetups and retreats. And she's now touched the lives of thousands, perhaps millions with Sammy's Law. I think you get the picture. And I just want to reiterate her message. I think that her message is for us to stop being afraid and start being honest, because if you don't give a shit what other people think and stop now being a people pleaser and don't do anything that you don't have a full body yes to and take leaps and do those things that feed your soul, even if there's no guarantee of the outcome, and be unapologetic about saying no, even if you lose friends, you will gain respect. So thank you, Dr. Laura. I think that's self-respect. And two other things. The interview that Natalie and I happened to do with Dr. Laura was followed by an interview with this wonderful woman named Sister Jenna of the Brahma Kumari spiritual movement. She's also the founder of the Meditation Museum in Washington, D.C. She's the host of America Meditating Radio Show. And we asked her a question that I think everyone here thinks about, and that is, what if you're doing everything right and still things go wrong? And I had to share her answer with you. I think it'll rock your world. She said, and this is another quote, she said, 2.5 years ago, I had a health situation and it was a serious one. And I didn't even tell the people in the Brahma Kumari family because I knew if I told them, they would simply lose it. And sure enough, when I had to get to that final moment of really going into the process of this health situation, I was sitting in meditation and I said, I don't understand why this would happen to me. I eat well. I'm a good person. I do good work in the world. Is this just some really old karma from the past? And the message I got was, Sometimes sacrifices need to be made. I need your soul to be of service in this particular way right now. You need to do this as a service, and you will see why. One thing you need to model is, even if you've been very healthy and very positive, don't get upset or disheartened if stuff happens to you. There will always be a benefit. So she was sharing that when something happens, know that that is simply a way that the Creator wants to use you. So let that sink in. And finally, I want to mention one more person who brought me to tears yesterday, and that was Celine Dion. Some consider her the greatest singer in the world. And why would the Creator give her stiff person syndrome, making her almost unable to sing? And yet she took her months and months of pain and she walked on the world's largest stage to inspire us all at the Olympics, to show us that anything is possible, that it's not what happens to us, but it's what we do with what happens to us. And just like the Creator used Dr. Laura and Sister Jenna, she must be using Celine Dion to inspire us to stand taller and know there will always be a gift. And it's your choice after you rage and you cry and you scream, then ask, why are you using me in this way? What is the lesson? And how can I use that lesson to inspire and contribute to the lives of others? And when you get the answer to that how, do it. So have a great week enjoying the Olympics. Happy 200th Success Saturday. Love you all, and I'll see you next week. Bye for now.